Hello, I'm Mayor Brad Pike. Welcome to the Explore Eagle podcast, where you can learn more about our City of Eagle and our community. Hi everybody, I'm Brad Pike, your mayor for the City of Eagle. Today we have with us Kellie Rekow. She's our treasurer, and her department is one of the 10 taxing districts within the city. How are you doing, Kellie?
I'm great, thank you.
All right. Tell us a little bit about what the treasurer does for the City of Eagle and how you operate.
Okay. The city, by Idaho statute, the treasurer is responsible basically for the money of the city. They're responsible for all the finances. The treasurer signs on the checks, they look through the bills, they have oversight of accounts payable, utility billing, budgeting, pretty much anything to do with money.
Okay, Kellie, since the city is one of 10 taxing districts, for property taxes, we receive about 11% of the revenue. Can you give us an overview of the city's budget and what is the process to establish a city budget?
Sure. The city, like you said, is one of 10, sometimes 11 taxing districts. Depending on where people live, there could be an additional taxing district on their tax bill. Some of our citizens are in a flood district, but not all. So there's some things like that. So our city budget of each individual tax bill is about 11% comes to the city. Our budget, it's an annual budget. We run October 1 through September 30. Department heads help create the budgets. Those are presented to City Council for discussion. After that, City Council goes back and forth on what they would like to see, more discussion happens, and then it goes to a public hearing, and the public comes and testifies. They have an opportunity to comment all through the process, in addition to at the public hearing. They can make suggestions or express concerns before council approves a budget. And then once that budget is approved, it's certified with the county and then with the state, and then we start a new year. The property taxes have boundaries on them. We're not allowed to increase our property tax portion of our budget by more than 8% each year. Our city budget this year is $52 million, but of that, less than $5 million is property taxes. We receive revenue from a variety of sources. We receive money from the state through sales tax. We receive franchise fees. We receive, liquor tax. Yeah. We receive building permits, planning permits, all kinds of licensing fees, and those all help to make up that difference. In addition, there's some impact fee money in there, and that's, that is specific. It can't be spent, that. It's got very strict guidelines on what it can be spent on. And then we have our enterprise funds, our water department, and those are specific to it. They can't be spent anywhere else.
Good. And are there any changes that are needed in the budget that you would, and what is the process if we do those?
Oh, if we amend a budget, sure.
Sure.
Budgets can absolutely be amended because it's just a forecast, right? We don't know for sure what might come up. And it is the exact same procedure as we did when we passed the original budget. There will be meetings to discuss. There's a public hearing. It's published for that day. It's approved by City Council, and it moves forward. It's not that often that a budget needs to be amended. If something changes, City Council can quite often just say, let's move this money from point A to point B, and let's use it that way. Instead, they have the authority to do that. We just can't spend more than we said we were going to. That's what we told our citizens, and that's what we stick to.
And I like the fact that we could reallocate funds from that general fund to a line item that we're interested in, or we think the public is looking. In terms of how does the public get involved in the budget process? Is there anything they can do to participate?
Sure. All of our council, all of our city council meetings are open to the public. We do have our budget meetings on a different day because there's so much discussion, and it takes away from the regular business meeting of City Council. But those are open meetings, and we also put those out online when they're happening. People can watch them later. It's an open meeting. They can come down, listen, participate. It is still a business meeting, and so it's not like people can just stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. But we absolutely can listen to people and their comments during that time. And we have at least 4 budget meetings. Last year I think we had 6. That's what I'm planning on this year. They're open to the public.
Yeah, great. And they can always email us as well and give us
Yes.
any comments that they may think that are relevant to how the budget's coming
Yes.
this year. So, and those are all, we encourage all of those. And then it kind of dovetails into transparency. And where can the people find the budget, you know, so they can look at it themselves?
The City of Eagle has a great website, and if people, kind of the quickest way to get there, if they go to cityofeagle.org and then they do that handy little / and put finance, it will take them to all of our financial reports. The budget's on there, the quarterly reports are on there, the audit is on there. It's got a link to the history of all of those reports as well. Once they get out into the transparency area, once they get out to Laserfish, we store our check registers out there. Every time City Council reviews a host of payments to pay, that register goes out on the website and it's stored there so that people can see it anytime they want. The financial reports are attached to the agenda for every meeting that they are sent to, so everything is out there all the time. And if people can't find it, we want to help them find it.
Sure, they can contact us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And kind of in line with the transparency part, we do have an annual audit. You want to talk a little bit about when that occurs?
We do.
and
Our
why?
year ends on September 30th, and we are required by the state to have an independent auditor audit our books. We submitted our final paperwork this year in December, and he submits a written report. He gives us, our auditor is really great, Mayor. We can call him any time of the year, and he will help us with questions to keep us in check all year long. So it's not a summation of 12 months, let's fix your problems now.
Right.
It is all year long, we can call him. And I'm really proud to say we do really well. We do a good job with our books, and our audit is good.
Yeah, well, you have a vested interest and a knowledge and a background, and kind of went to school to learn all this, so that's important for you to be able to be the person we go to for that. So in terms of how to report the actual expenses and income for the public, for them to stay informed about the budget and actual expenses for each quarter and each year, how do we disseminate that out for them?
Of course. So every month, we're required to provide a financial statement to City Council. And so we provide that financial statement, and it's line items and the numbers, but the detail behind that is in a computer, and we're happy to provide that for anyone who would ask. Quarterly, we are required to publish on our website the financial statement, and it gives the summary of what happened that quarter, and then our report happens to give a year-to-date as well, so what happened this quarter and where we are in the year. And those sit on our website on that finance page. We keep the 4 most current quarters on, and then the oldest one drops off. So there's always 4 quarters out there, and they can look at them.
That's great, yeah. Okay, in wrapping this up, Kelly, what other financial aspects do you think the city or the public would like to hear or be aware of?
All of our department heads do such a good job managing their budgets. They really work with an eye to getting the biggest bang for their buck and making every penny they spend count. On our side of the building, we do the very best that we can to make sure that everything is properly accounted for and placed in the right spot. We want to make sure that we do the very best job we can. We're not without human error, right?
Yeah.
But we sure do the best that we can, and we invite the public so much. If you have a question, gosh, come and ask. We would rather look into something and talk to people about it than have them speculate or listen to something on social media. We would so much rather have a conversation.
Go right to the source and
yeah.
ask the professional.
We would, because we know we work hard and we know we're trustworthy, but people wonder, and gosh, we invite them to ask.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, that gives the public a great insight as to what your job as a treasurer does and where the taxes go. And just it's one of many taxing districts that the public pays to, but this is important to know where the city monies come from and where they go. So I appreciate you coming and talking to us today and giving the public a little education on how the treasurer performs in the city of Eagle.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Explore Eagle podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve you as the Mayor of Eagle. If you have any topics you would like us to discuss on the podcast, please email us at pio@cityofeagle.org.